Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you, Richie, for taking time out of your night and coming on the Grue Rume Show.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you guys having me.
Definitely. Thanks, man. So, like, the first thing I wanted to start out asking you is, like, when did your passion and love start for the world of pro wrestling?
Okay, it's kind of funny. Funny you asked that. It's a funny story. It's gonna be a funny story, everybody. So there wasn't really a passion for wrestling. It was like my father watched wrestling, and I got forced to sit there and watch it with him. So I used to play my little LJN little figures and have them fight those big LJN figures, Hillbilly Jim, whoever, big ass rubber ring, this, that, the other. Well, the ring wasn't rubber, but the rest of the guys were. Huge, gigantic ring, late 80s. So my father grew up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. He used to go to YMCA gym. Pedro Morales used to go to the YMCA gym. So I'm not saying they were best friends, but they would work out together. You know, they would see each other there. So my father, knew Pedro. Like I said, they weren't best friends, but I was going to do a private signing with Pedro right before he passed away. It was like 2 weeks before he passed away. I spoke to the wife, and I was going to bring my father. And when I told Pedro everything about my father, he didn't exactly know who he was, but everything that I was telling him matched what he knew. So it definitely, my father was always telling the truth, I guess, about him and Pedro working out and saying I never believed him, So as I was born 84, so let's say like 88, 89, I actually started knowing what was going on. Like I said, my father forced me to watch, but there's something like it. I used to always root for the bad guys, except if Hulk Hogan was fighting the bad guys. So it was like, yeah, DiBiase, whoop, this one's just, he's fighting Hulk Hogan this week? Hogan's going to win. So I'll tell one other story about my childhood, and I'll let you ask any questions you want. So 5th grade, remember when you were in 5th grade and you had your yearbook in 5th grade? You remember? Okay. When they ask you your favorite person?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to know who my favorite person was in 5th grade?
Hogan.
Wasn't Hogan. It's a little older now. 95? Was it 95? It's a little bit older now. Favorite person, Rick Rude. Now you can ask me why it was Rick Rude. You want to know why it was Rick Rude? Because he got all the work. That's why it was Rick Rude. True story. If I can find that yearbook, I'll show it to you guys. I'll show it to you. If I see an upcoming event, I'll show it to you. If I can find that yearbook, it's got to be somewhere in this damn place. I got a whole mess all over the place of autographs and different things. But yeah, Rick Rude was my favorite person in 5th grade.
Ravishing Rick, like he definitely got the girls. Remember when he would bring them to the ring and kiss them, and they would pass out?
And dude, I was a big fan of the WCW theme song of his. I used to know all the words. I might not know the words now, but back then I knew all the words. I would sing the words. Like him and Sting, the man called Sting. Those are the only 2 songs I knew. Those are the only 2 songs I knew the words to. Was Sting's song and Rick Rude's song. And I still don't forgive Sting because I feel he hurt Rick Rude's career. So I still don't forgive the Stinger.
Yeah, because it was the match with Sting overseas. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's a shame. Like Rude was so good. Like it's a shame his wrestling career was cut short.
Dude, he was trying to like when they were doing the whole NWO thing, they were trying to make him come back. Like he was waiting for his now, you might know this better than me. Laws of London or something like that. He had a lawsuit. Curt Hennig was also a part of it.
Oh, really?
That's why Curt Hennig couldn't wrestle for 2 years. So once Curt Hennig was up, then he wrestled again. It was a Something of London, it's called. We'll have to, everybody Google it after the show. Something of London. And Curt Hennig had this thing, and Rick Rude had it afterwards. So Rick Rude was waiting to do it. They wanted him to fight in ECW, and either the thing wasn't up or he wasn't ready yet. Then he went into NWO. And then, we all know what happened with Rick Rude. And then obviously he couldn't wrestle since he's no longer with us. But,
well, yeah, exactly.
But to my understanding, whatever that thing of London, you guys can Google it. That's going to be a homework for this week, everybody. That's your homework. You're the host here. You should have known this about Rick Rude. But then again, you didn't know I was a big Rick Rude fan. You never see me with, I don't have a Rick Rude jacket. I don't have one.
Oh, really?
You've only seen me with a Ric Flair jacket, I think.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you never see me. They don't have one. I never seen one of Rick Rude.
I never did either. That would be amazing.
Yeah, listen, if anybody sees a chalk line jacket, Rick Rude jacket, I will buy it. Richie Sorrentino, hit me up Facebook, Instagram, find me at a convention, find Rocco, and just let me look. I got this Rick Rude jacket. Even if you overcharge me, I'll probably buy it. That's how much a Rick Rude fan I am.
That would be cool. Like have the lips all ravishing Rick Rude, on the back, and
he was good. Like I liked him more in WCW than I did WWF. I liked him more in WCW.
yeah, definitely.
Hence, he had the catchy theme song. He won the world title there. So him fighting Warrior, I probably did cheer for Warrior, to be honest. When they fought against each other, I probably did cheer for Warrior. Like, I'm thinking about it, but for the most part, I did cheer for the bad guys. Even early '90s, when certain guys became good guys, I'm like, damn, man, I can't root for them no more. Like Dangerous Alliance, I was like, why the hell did they end this stable? This stable's great. I was pissed. WWF, whoever was bad guy there, those are the guys I liked. When Sid Justice turned bad, I was like, Sid deserved to turn bad. Like Hogan was the one who cheated. Like that was the one time I did root against Hogan. When Hogan turned bad was the best of both worlds for me. When Hogan turned bad, I loved it. I loved it.
That was amazing. Like nobody saw that coming. Like it was just.
I definitely didn't. Even when I watched the reruns, Heenan gives it away. And I didn't even notice that until years later. Like, Heenan says he's the third man. Like as the guy's walking into the ring, whose team is he on? But like who the hell would think? You think he's there to help WCW? You would think, but they got everybody good with that one.
Yeah, like Hogan turning heel was definitely the best thing that they did, because Hogan was starting to get booed.
Yeah, definitely. He was getting booed. Dude, how much can you see the same stuff? Especially him fighting Kamala and the whole. Okay, listen, Dungeon of Doom, I didn't cheer for them. Okay, Dungeon of Doom, I didn't cheer for them. And anything else they were before Dungeon of Doom, I didn't cheer for them. The food they have at the time. Like the bad guys were good. Some good guys. I'm not saying like I was a big Bret fan, so there were some bad guys that I always cheer. For the most part, cheer for the bad guys. But like Bret, I liked. So like Bret was one of my guys. Austin was a good guy, even though he was a bad guy. So like by default, it was similar to Hogan. When he turned bad, I was already a fan of Austin at that point. Well, I liked him in WCW. So when he was in WCW, then he jumped to ECW.
The long blonde hair.
Right. Then he jumped to ECW. And then even as a shitty ringmaster, I was an Austin fan. I was like, shitty gimmick, but I was rooting for him.
Yeah, it was a pretty big gimmick.
I didn't buy his action figure, everybody. That's one figure I didn't have of Mattel Toys. Was not a ringmaster Austin. If it existed, I didn't own it. I own Rick Rude. I did not own I didn't own a ringmaster, I can tell you that. That's one thing I can tell you guys.
And so when did you start doing this? Like when did you start bringing in wrestlers for bookings, for signings?
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to tell the short version of this. So I used to work at a radio station, K2 Z100 out in New York City. So if anybody's ever been to a Z100 Jingle Ball or K2 Beachstock, I was involved in those things. I even emceed some of those conferences and the after parties, BB Kings with Selena Gomez. We did after parties. Basically from early 2000s to like mid 2010s, I was big in music business. Not big. I can't say big because I really didn't make it outside of New York, New Jersey, PA, Connecticut. So I can't really say the word big. But again, I was like a hype man. So
Okay.
How I don't shut up now, that's how picture me on a microphone. Same thing. Okay. So I was doing that. And are you familiar with the big event?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So Tommy, who runs the big event, he used to own an ice cream store in Staten Island. I live in Staten Island, New York. So Tommy owned an ice cream store. And this other guy, Dan Sherman, he owned a baseball card store. Now they were rivals. I knew Dan and I knew Tom separately. Both were booking wrestling guys. So I went to both signings. I would go to both guys. And they're like, Rich, can you hype man and get people like on the line to be happy to be here? I'm like, yeah, whatever you want. So I would do that for both guys. So, I'm meeting fans, I'm doing different things. And then I met Lewis. I think you met Lewis. Lewis has Ultimate Stars as his company. And I met Lewis. And Lewis goes, Rich, you book a lot of music talents. Because I was doing a lot of nightclub stuff at the time. I go, yeah, I book a lot of music guys. Why? Did you ever think about booking wrestling guys? What the hell are you talking about, book wrestling? What do you mean? How do you book wrestling guys? I don't book music guys. Never worked wrestling guys in my life. He's like, yeah, but you helped one of these guys get a reality star, which was true. I did help them get. It was either Tom or Danny, one of them, helped get a reality star. And I was like, I never really thought about wrestling. So he pitched Rob Terry to me. And a girl, Kathy Nardone, was on VH1. She was on 2 TV shows. So I knew Kathy from before she was on those shows. So he mentioned Rob Terry. I said, listen, okay, if you're going to do Rob Terry, let's do Rob Terry. And let me bring in Kathy because I know her. It's a girl. People like girls, you know. Yeah, I never did wrestling. So Rob Terry was the first wrestler I ever had with Lewis and Ultimate Stars. So we did that. Lewis had that information. I don't know how he got the guy's contact. That's something to be a question for him. But after that, I started making connections. And the more stuff you start doing, the more connections you make. And then, you know, we'll get into that. But you're the interviewer, so I'll let you ask the questions and I'll answer as they come. I'm shutting my mouth. I don't shut the hell up, guys. I'm sorry. It's a simple mistake. I truly am sorry. And we don't have to involve the authorities in this matter. It's a simple mistake, and I truly am sorry. Sorry to the whole podcast, to all the listeners, to all the viewers, to the host, to the host cousin, to the host mother. Sorry to everybody. But I'll let him continue with the next question when he's done laughing his ass off.
Well, no, I mean, I'm liking what I'm hearing about how you got involved in doing it. So that was like your first show you ever did, and then
before, like I said, before there was a big event, I knew Tommy and them before there was a big event. So when they said there's gonna be a big event, I think maybe I don't know if I did big event 1 was the first one, or big event 2, but definitely I definitely helped them at the first big event as a helper. Yeah. If I didn't have the talent, then I don't, you know, you're going back now early 2010s, you know, getting old now, bro. 2023, I don't know, you know, time flies. But definitely the first act I had, you know, was definitely Rob Terry in terms of wrestling. And then from there, you know, Rob Terry, a lot of Impact people we were booking. It's like Mickey James, she was an Impact at the time, Matt Hardy. And it was whoever was an Impact that was in WWE originally, those were all the guys I was booking. Then I became really good friends with Rob Terry, and he helped me get guys.
Oh, wow.
I became really good friends with Nash, and then he helped me get Hall, this one, that one. And then we'll skip all the way down the line, and then I started getting Bret Hart type guys. And now we got Wrestle Show New Jersey coming up, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point in this. So, you know, everything, you have to climb a ladder like anything else. You got, you know, remember like we were little kids, you had to win the tag belts first, then the IC belt, then the world title. That's how it works with the wrestling. If you're a wrestling vendor, that's how it works. If a person skips the ladder, then like, you know, they're skipping bases, bro. That ain't cool. You should never skip bases. That's not cool.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Everybody's got to pay dues.
And now you said, like, who are some of like the big names you've been getting for like the wrestling shows? Like you mentioned Brett. Like, do you get guys like
Brett Hall and Nash? I've worked with like 4 or 5 times. Like they were my guys. I've worked with other big name talents, but they weren't my guys. So I'm not gonna say, oh, I worked with Sting because I just helped with the line. So I'm not gonna say I worked with him because that would be lying. Or at least I feel that that's lying. So, you know, but guys that I personally was involved in booking: Brett, Hall, Nash, Mickey James, Matt Hardy, Psycho Sid, who's crazy, by the way. He's crazy. Great guy. Crazy guy. You know, even though he's not a big name guy, I got to give him a shout out because he's part of my team, GTG. I got to give him a shout out. I know he was on your show. Barry Horowitz, pound the back. Barry's my boy. He helps me get a lot of guys. Barry, great guy. I know he did this show and he gave me plenty of positive reviews before I came on. Very picky of what shows I do. You know, so Barry's word, you know, is good. For those of you who don't know, Barry's king of Subway. I'm the king of credit. You need credit fix, come to me. If you want to know about Subway, you go to Barry.
There you go. Well, you have a show too. Like you do a video show every week where you sell different things, right?
Yeah, right. So we have a group on Facebook, GTG Productions, and every Wednesday, 5 o'clock. We stopped doing it for the last couple of weeks because things have slowed down with the economy and everything. But we still do sales on the page. If people still want to buy different, you can still bid. It's like 24, 48 hour, you know, you have 48 hours to bid. But we don't really do the lives as much, but we were doing it since COVID started, 2020. 3 years straight, we were doing it nonstop. Every Wednesday, 5 o'clock, we were doing it. But like, yeah, the past couple weeks we did stop because, you know, who has work, who's doing different things. And we were getting less viewers because who's going back to work, people who don't have money. You know, it's just the whole big process. We weren't getting the viewers that we felt we needed to get. Will that be something we'll bring back? I don't know. But yeah, GTG Productions, that's the name of the company. We sell autographs, we book talent, do a lot of different things. We even fix your credit too. Well, I fix credit. So I guess it counts as the company does because I fix people's credit. That's my real job, everybody. Not wrestling, not running my mouth. You know, it's fixing credit. So I got to yell at those people all day. So imagine how they feel. How he's laughing on the other end. Those people on the phone are crying when I talk to them about credit. They're crying about it. If you're Citibank, Chase Bank, Discover, they're crying when I call them.
Yeah. So to get not to get off the thing with wrestling, like you talk about credit, like if someone, I mean, there's a lot of people with bad credit or fighting banks and creditors. Like, how do they get in touch with you to fix their credit?
Check out my Facebook, Richie Sorrentino. If you can't find me on Facebook, just hit up this show, hit them up and ask them for my link. And I check your credit, no obligation. Just make a Credit Karma, creditkarma.com, make an account. We'll look at it, no obligation. It won't cost you a dime. Again, you're dealing with me directly. Like I work for an actual company. When I do things on Facebook, you're not dealing with the company I work for. So that's a good loophole that you save money because they charge you to look at people's credit scores. I don't charge you a dime. I look at it. I give you my opinion, my advice. You could choose to take it, not take it. We move forward. We don't move forward. At least you're getting free advice. So free is key, guys. Listen, if your score's already bad, how much worse can I make it?
Well, yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right with that. Okay. And like this, you bring in a lot of wrestling talent. Do you ever do like film or TV stars too, or is it strictly the wrestlers now?
So we did some reality stars, the TV. Let me think, TV. Now mostly reality people. Like we had Marissa from Mob Wives, Gina Marie, Big Brother, TV. I'm sure there's a few TV people I'm missing. I work so many damn people, but like no real like big movie stars. Like nobody really big, like huge movie stars. If they were in a movie, they were probably related to wrestling somehow. But off the top of my head, I'm sure after the show I'll come up with like 10 names. But off the top of my head, there's no like huge movie star that I've worked with. I almost had the guy from Cobra Kai, not from Cobra Kai. He was in Karate Kid Part 3. Mike Barnes, he played.
Yeah.
I almost had him for Rhode Island Comic Con one year, but that didn't work out.
Okay. All right. And you have your very first show coming up, right? And it's a huge show. You got a lot of names on there. Can you tell us how Wrestle Show came?
God, that's another story. I'll give the short version again, even though I wasn't going to laugh. I'd be like, he said short version. The kid don't shut the hell up. All right. So 2019 timeframe. Originally, it's going to be in Brooklyn, New York. Originally, not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that unless I've said it in their podcast. So the original idea was Brooklyn. Okay, around 2019.
Okay.
We were talking about this, that, the other. Locations. So there was a few, again, nothing was finalized. COVID happens 2020, March 2020. Second week, third week of March, because I was with Deborah 1 week of March and we were talking about what the hell is COVID? And next week everything got shut down. Me and Deborah Michaels were together. Me and Deborah were like, COVID, what the hell is that? What are these people talking about? And the next week, like everything, like the world changed. Like, and I remember talking to Deborah Michaels, we're both like, what are these people talking about? Oh, only 4 people in the country have it? This thing will go away. And that's what me and Deborah was saying. And the next week I called Deborah, I said, I don't think it's going away. She goes, yeah, Rich, listen, darling, I don't think this in a Southern accent. I can't do a Deborah impersonation, so I'm not going to try. I was tempted to try, but I'm not going to do it. So Deborah was just like, listen, darling, yeah, you're right. This is definitely going to last a while. And sure enough, we all know how long, COVID, some people are still dealing with it, certain parts of the country. So around 2020, I had to nix the whole idea of the convention. Obviously, they couldn't do it. I was still doing small stuff like Wrestling Universe. They were still in Queens. I was doing stuff, bringing guys there, local malls in different parts of Jersey, Long Island, New York City. Doing smaller things. So I had a bunch of UFC guys during the pandemic. Dan Server randomly, a bunch of UFC, Mark the Hammer Coleman, randomly UFC guys randomly kept calling me. I don't know how they got my number, but again, the Dan Server was kind of related to wrestling, so I guess that's how. I guess, but Dan the Beast, good guy. Mark Coleman, good guy. But a lot of UFC guys, I watched UFC a little bit when I was younger, but I wasn't a huge UFC after like the first couple pay-per-views. Once they got rid of the whole tournament thing where you fight like 3 times, and then I was, once they got rid of that whole thing, then I didn't watch it. But it was like tournament, and like you get hurt, you legit get hurt, you still fight the next match. That I watched. Like Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, like those guys. I definitely like the first 5 UFCs out. Now it's like UFC 300. I only seen the first 5. Sorry. Maybe I've seen a few of Buffalo Wild Wings in passing, but the first 5 I definitely watched in my house. But so pandemic happened. So now we're 2023. Late last year, so 2022, around the summertime, I'd say, towards the end of the summer, I was at the venue, which is Middletown Sports Complex in Middletown, New Jersey. And we were just talking about, hey, Rich, ever think about doing a wrestling show? And I said, actually, now that you guys mentioned it, there was a plan. And I spitballed the plan a little bit. They liked the idea. And I said, well, why don't you throw it here? What do you mean, why don't I throw it here? And they looked me dead in the eye. Why don't you throw it here? Well, why don't I do that? And it's like,
yeah, exactly.
And then Wrestle Show New Jersey was born. I had to keep changing the date though, because AEW, they wouldn't confirm their dates on purpose because they don't like conventions. I didn't know that. That was like a new thing AEW started doing. So
really?
They would post the dates of their shows, the dates of when people have conventions. Didn't know that. So a lot changed from 2019 till now. Agents, all these wrestlers now that I knew, they all have agents. So like a $2,000 person, now they want $5,000. It doesn't make sense. So there's a lot of people on the show, on my show, or the show, or Wrestle Show, whatever you want to call that. I didn't want to say my show, it's a team effort. So everybody involved in Wrestle Show, there's some people we couldn't book because the prices just didn't make sense. If I paid 30 grand for somebody, that means I got to charge you guys more money, the fans.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So like, it didn't make sense to me. I know if I wouldn't pay for this, why would someone else pay? And that was my mindset. So I made it as affordable as possible so that there's something for everybody. So if you're an 80s fan, there's stuff for you. If you're a 2000s fan, there's stuff for you. If you're a 90s fan, which probably is my bracket, like late 90s or 2000s, give or take. Whenever I start going on, I'll give you an example. NWO, whatever that last one was when Brett was the leader, I didn't see it until the network. Didn't see it. Once the whole New Blood angle happened and Billy Kimmon beat Hogan 3 times in a row, I never watched WCW again. Like that was it. Never watched WCW. Like I went out with girls on Monday night, and the rules of my house were this: Rich, you could be out as late as you want. Sorry, mom, sorry in advance. Dad, sorry in advance. These are the rules of my house. You can stay out as late as you want, as long as you know that you're going to school the next day. Those are the rules. They'll deny that this was said. Those are the rules. So again, but I always had a fake ID, which I can say now, statute of limitations, I had a fake ID. Hence why I had all the nightclub and music connections that I had.
Yeah, exactly.
I would stay out late. I'd sleep maybe 2 or 3 hours, but I'd go to school the next day. There was no missing school the next day. That was against the rules, Now, maybe my grandmother had part in this too, so we'll blame her the most. But God rest her soul. But she basically, it's me and my sister. My sister's 4 years older than me. So the rules my sister had and the rules I had, definitely favoritism this way, 100%. So. But trust me, years later, my sister got me back on that. But that's a story for a whole nother show. So, I'll let you ask the questions.
Okay. And so I saw like who's going to be at this show, and you got like a really good mixture of guests. Can you tell the fans like who some of the guests that are going to be on the show?
Sure, I can. I'll show you it both ways. I can show you a flyer like this. Fan that nobody could see. Right? No one could see it, right? Tiny, right? No one see it. Okay, so off the top, I'm just gonna look at the flyer because I'm a little slow, it's a long day. So you got Danhausen, AEW, current guy. Melina, Rikishi, Dark Order. So if you like AEW, Dark Order. If you're a 90s Attitude Era fan, then you got Ron Simmons. You got Enzo Amore if you're like last 5 years of wrestling fan. Kalisto if you're in the last 5 years wrestling fan. Funaki from late 90s. Mm-hmm. Sonny and Ultimo Dragon, great guys. I worked with them a few times. Good guys. I'm actually not the vendor who has them. I'm disappointed in that, but they're good guys. Lila Gray from AEW. Harley Cameron's in AEW. The girl Cherry, remember how she was with Deuce and Domino?
Oh, that's yeah.
She lives in Australia. She's coming out.
Oh, wow.
Jasmine Allure, top tier. Jasmine Allure, she'll be there. Francine from ECW, the Sandman. There's about over 50 superstars definitely going to be there. So it's a cool mixture. So like if you're a WCW fan, WWF, we go even going back 1970s. You got Johnny freaking Rods, Hall of Famer Johnny Rods, and then you got the 1990s version of Johnny Rods, Barry Horowitz. He's going to be there. So you got Barry Horowitz, Johnny Rods of their respective generations. How Rods in the Hall of Fame and Horowitz isn't, I couldn't tell you because they both accomplished the same in that federation. So it doesn't. I'll see Barry accomplish more because Rods never won.
Well,
but, Barry actually won matches and he won other titles in other things, so, listen, maybe I'm a little biased for Barry because like I said, Barry is part of GTG Productions. So maybe I'm a little biased when it comes to Barry, but the man did his thing. He got legendary power on the back. Listen, there's a lot worse people in the Hall of Fame Barry should be in. You know what I mean? Barry deserves it. Listen, we're gonna start a campaign for Barry. He should be in. Make an enhancement talent wing. Listen, if Coco Beware is in the Hall of Fame, then Barry should be in. Because the Bird should have been in over Coco Beware. And I've said that before on another podcast. I'll say it again here. I probably said it multiple. I even said this. I said this to Coco Beware's face. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. That involves Steve Austin. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about another time. Maybe I'll have me on the show just for that story with Steve Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's its own story. But yeah, Wrestle Show, like I said, something for everybody. So if you like new wrestling, there's stuff for you. I don't really watch a lot of the current product. I do, but I fast forward. I'm not going to lie. I fast forward a lot of the new product. I do like the Bloodline. Everybody makes fun of me. I like the Bloodline story. Like, Roman needs to lose the title. I'm like, nah, let him have it for the next 10 years. I don't see a guy comes, as of the people that are in there now, I don't see anybody taking the belt. Unless it's the other, whatever Uso was the one that was the right-hand man. That's the only one I could possibly see beating him to complete the story. Like Kevin Owens, he can't beat him now. If they make one of these guys beat him, that's been the first 2 years now, it defeats the whole thing. So unless somebody brand new comes in, I don't know who could come in, you know, but like there's no way him, there's no way, like you need a brand new guy to come in. Like Cody could have been that guy. I wasn't a fan.
That's what everybody wanted. They wanted Cody Rhodes to be the guy.
But it wouldn't make sense because he wasn't around when the guy was dominating. So you can't have Brock beat him. You can't have Omos beat him. You can't have Bobby Lashley beat him. Drew McIntyre, I think's contract's coming up. So, you know, there's certain guys that they've been there so long. You know, why would they randomly beat him out of nowhere? It just wouldn't make, you know, has to be someone, like I said, the right-hand man, whichever one that is, whichever Uso that is, possibly him, or you get somebody from another federation. Come in, you know, do something, work out a 20-day deal or something. I don't know. Have some Japanese guy, Mexican guy in AAA, bring them in, and let them come in, beat Roman's ass somehow. Have the whole federation come and help them beat Roman, and that's it. You know, they got to do something with that.
That's actually really good.
Or no. Because I even said, even if The Rock did come back to fight him, you don't want The Rock to be the champ because he'll fight once every 4 months.
Yeah, like he won't defend the title because he'll probably, if that does happen and Rock beats him for the title, and then on Raw he'll say he can't defend the title because of film stuff, so they'll have a tournament for it.
Right, so it's just better to keep Roman as the champ. Listen, if it's got to be another 2 years, it's got to be another 2 years. Now, listen, if they made a whole new belt, I don't see Roman losing the title anytime soon. The fact that they made a whole new title, now does Roman still come out with 2 titles, or he just has the one now? So
not both. Yeah.
So then technically there's 3 world titles, not counting NXT. 3 world
titles, yes.
So that means Roman ain't losing then, because why would they not like merge the belt?
I know, exactly.
But WWE though, in all honesty, you know, and again, there's no inside scoop here. And I do have friends that work at WWE, but in all honesty, they have no clue what the frick is going on there. They play every couple of weeks we see a storyline go one way. It's like Bray Wyatt. There's his Uncle Howie. And I'm like, yo, what happened to Uncle Howie? I missed a week or two. Like, oh, he hasn't been on TV. I'm like, why? Like, did they explain it? Like, where's Uncle Howie? Like, what happened to that guy? Well, I missed him too. And people are like, oh no, you didn't miss him. He just wasn't on TV. I'm like, well, what happened to the guy? And where's Alexa Bliss? What happened to her ass? Like some of these people, they just disappear. You know, Dana Brooke, I think, came back on Raw the other day. I was like, this girl's still employed? I think it was shocking. Yeah, I'll give you one who I was surprised about. Alicia Fox got fired. I didn't even know she was employed. Alicia Fox? How was she even in the company? I knew why she was hired for so many years. I'm not going to get into that. Larry Sabisco. But, Larry Sabisco, good guy. Shout out to Larry Sabisco. But Sabisco, I'm sorry, Sabisco, but you're the only reason why she had the job. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Hey, you know, they listened to him. Larry Sabisco is the living legend, fought Bruno. So yeah.
Hit Bruno with that wooden chair that time, 1970, whatever it was, with that wooden ass, fucking hard ass chair, wooden chair. Listen, that hard chair probably, that wooden chair probably hurt more than the chairs they use in the current product. You
know, you're probably right about that.
Probably. Dude, the guy took a real chair. Like, dude, these chairs, you know, they find ways to, like, you know, when they do the concerto and all those things, they find ways. I remember, like, Gangrel told me once, they find ways, shout out to Gangrel, by the way, I mean, go up the spot, but they find ways to, like, do things so like that it's a softer thing than it looks.
Yeah.
Which is cool. You know, listen, you know, again, we all know that it's stage show. You know, it's to get hurt, but, you know, it's a stage. We all know, if you're watching this, it's stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Not telling you guys something you don't know. Now, if you're 3 years old and I just told you something you didn't know, then blame your parents. It's not my fault. Not my fault. But Wrestle Show will be a kid, family-friendly environment. So you could bring your kids, you could bring your wife, you could bring your cousins, your aunts. Again, you bring the whole family. Now, not every convention is set that way. It's $50 to get in. There was a show this weekend in New Jersey. And again, a good show. I'm not going to bash it. It was a good show. They had Brett there. I wasn't there. It was a good show. I know the guy who threw it. Good show. I'll even tell you the show. Nothing bad about it. 80s WrestleCon. Again, I said the guy has bills to pay. It was a good show. But again, $45 to get in, plus parking fees and all these other things. And now, Wrestle Show, $15 to get in. Free parking. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to like big event or you go to like some of these other places, I know I see you a lot at Icons. Sometimes there's parking fees. If you can't find a place to park, you got to pay parking. Wrestle Show, I take flat out. There's plenty of parking. The place itself has a huge parking lot. You could Google it, Middletown Sports Complex. Go to like Google Earth Images and you'll see the parking lot. And then to the right side, and to the left side, there is a big parking lots that you are allowed to use. So there's like a shopping center, so you're allowed to use them. So I already spoke to them. They're cool. They actually will have flyers up for the show. They were pretty cool in that town. But the mayor there kind of gave me a tough time. But I'm not going to bash the mayor of the town. So that wouldn't be a smart idea for me. Maybe after May 20th I will. But the mayor kind of gave me a hard time. But it's all good.
As long as he's making it go, that's all that counts.
Yeah, well, we're having a show, guys. We're having a show. The guys that maybe the mayor will come and he'll cut a ribbon or something. I don't know. That'll make the guy happy. If the mayor's watching this, Middletown mayor, you want to cut the little ribbon? What do they say in AEW? Scissor me, daddy. And the guy wants to do scissors. We'll scissor him. We'll scissor him. All right. I couldn't get the Acclaimed. I tried to book the Acclaimed. Didn't work out. Tried to book Billy Gunn. It didn't work out. So those guys can't scissor him. But if Rocco wants to scissor the mayor of Middletown land over there, God bless.
Okay, get the scissor out.
Get him ready. So if anybody knows the mayor of Middletown, New Jersey, go tell him he's more than welcome to come. We'll scissor him. We'll get the big ribbon out. He can cut it right before the show starts. And that'll make him happy. He'll get the publicity from it. It'll be in all the newspapers as if he loved wrestling. Keyword, as if he did love wrestling. So that means you know his feeling on wrestling then, the way I just said it.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it at that.
So, are there any television shows that you like to binge watch?
Cobra Kai, Sopranos, even though it's 20 years later.
It's a great show.
Whatever Netflix tells me is the top show of the week, whatever Netflix. I'll watch random stuff on Netflix. I noticed since COVID, Netflix has become like my new best friend. It's like Netflix, like, watch this random show. I don't watch sci-fi stuff. Like, I might watch it on there. Like, but if it says it's on the little top 10 of like TV shows to watch, I'm into like the most randomest things. But like Cobra Kai, definitely a thing I watch. Stranger Things, so one of my nieces or nephews got me into it. When that show comes on, Winona Ryder, whoever else is on that, that little season, that's a show I watch. That I wait for.
I love that show.
Cobra Kai, Stranger Things. I have Friends Don't Lie. I have the T-shirt somewhere in this fucking apartment. There's Friends Don't Lie T-shirt. I have it somewhere here. I don't have a Hellfire Club shirt. Don't have that.
Well,
I was supposed to have a leather jacket of it, and just somebody. I gave it to somebody else who was a bigger fan, so like they can have it. Plus, the guy looked like Eddie in the show, so it made sense for him to have it. They wouldn't have worked for me.
Well, one of the actors from the show actually goes to school in Philadelphia now, the University of Penn. Noah Schnatt will.
Okay, right. Okay, right.
So you never know. You might be able to get him for a convention. He's local now.
you never know. You never know who you'll meet, man. Like I remember when Rutgers, a football team, New Jersey, Rutgers. I met Ray Rice, football player. Okay, now I know later on in life he did some fucked up shit. But when I met Ray Rice on an elevator, man, so you can say everybody's gonna say, oh, if I was watching this, he did his fucked up thing on an elevator. No, it wasn't that. It was 20 years before that elevator incident. So when I met Ray Rice for the first time, they're like, "This is Ray Rice. This is Rich Sorrentino." I'm like, "How you doing, Mr. Rice?" Like, But I made fun because they're like, "He's on the football team." I'm like, "He related to Jerry Rice." So like, I didn't know him. You know what I mean? But we hit it off. Went to the same party and everything that night. for like 2 years. I mean, he got drafted. He was like the third or second pick in the draft. I'm like, I know that fucking guy, Ray Rice. I was like, I didn't take his number. I thought he was like a scrubby ass guy on the fucking team. So like Ray Rice, I regret not fucking getting more information on him. And then if you watch basketball early 2000s, maybe later than early 2000s, but definitely before 2010. Darren Williams played on Utah Jazz, played on some other teams too, but he went to the University of St. Joe's in PA, and we hung out. We hung out at least 20 times. That was one of my places I used to hang out. St. Joe's, that was a place I hung out at. St. Joe's, Penn State, Scranton. I was there. Listen, there's a famous thing at Scranton. It was the blackout of Scranton. I was partying that night when that fucking blackout went on. I'm not gonna say how the blackout happened. I wasn't involved. I was there. There's t-shirts up to the event that happened afterwards. I made sure to all my friends in Scranton, you all wore those shirts. I don't know if I still own the shirt, but I was there. So if anybody ever goes to Scranton as a relative in Scranton, ask them about the blackout of Scranton. And I was at the event. I don't know the name of the event. It was some frat party or something. The whole block was like, the event wasn't called that, but the event got so freaking wild that all the fucking power went out. Again, I didn't do it. I didn't do that. But listen, you live in PA, right? You ever went to St. Joe's?
I did from Philly.
You ever went to St. Joe's?
I never did. No.
Dude, if you ever go to St. Joe's, just check out their campus. If you ever go there one day, on the way to St. Joe's, there's a thing called, I know it's a long boulevard, Roosevelt Boulevard. I know it's long. Okay. So it'd be similar to like where I live, Highland Boulevard is a big thing in Staten Island. It goes all the way through. So Roosevelt Boulevard's kind of like that. I know. So I'm trying to explain to you the best way I can. So Roosevelt Boulevard towards the end of it, I guess going 45 minutes from where you live, keep going down Roosevelt Boulevard. And you're gonna pass Broad Street, you're gonna pass this, you're gonna pass that. So when you finally get over there, right before you hit the campus, you can see a KFC. KFC lights up Christmas style all year round. It's Christmas time all year at that KFC. It's the KFC Christmas. It's like they have Christmas all year at that KFC. It's like people, 4 a.m., you're drinking, you're at the bar, whatever you're doing. It's like, let's all go to KFC. And like you're sitting there, everyone's celebrating Christmas, and it's like, it's like March. I was like, what the hell's, I remember watching March Madness basketball. I'm not the biggest, college basketball fan, but their team was in March Madness that year. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sitting there eating. I'm like, what's all this Christmas crap? And I'm like, dude, it's Christmas all year here. Like, why? Nobody knows why. So if anybody knows the answer, please let the show know as to why it is Christmas all year at that. I don't even know if that KFC still exists. I haven't been there in years. But yeah, I've had some good stories at that KFC. Scranton, I was there for that blackout I just told you about. Penn, I've been to plenty of times. Penn State, I've been to. There is a few other colleges. Definitely if you name them, I would know them. But I definitely sang out. There was a lot of girls that I knew in different colleges.
Oh, wow.
But again, but those were those radio station connections. They had nothing to do with wrestling. It was all radio station connections. And I'd meet these girls like Jersey Shore and different things. Like, and I go to this college. I go to, oh, well, can we come and visit? And next thing like me, like 40 friends of mine would go visit.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna listen. I have good listen. GTG used to just be a slogan, okay? Yeah. Used to do like promotional videos, like come out to tonight's event at Harris Pool and AC. GTG, good times guaranteed. And like everybody would say it. It was a slogan. It was never meant to be a company. Now you got people wearing beanie hats, they're wearing t-shirts, wearing jackets. Who the hell would have thought that? It was just a slogan. It started with 5 of us saying it, then 20 of us saying it. Then it led to like me. I was doing a concert once and I was emceeing it. Somebody got sick. And I was emceeing the concert. And again, this is all, I'm the best when it comes to winging things. So if we pre-plan something, I'm not good at it. But so it was winging. They're like, Rich, you can't say this, this, and this. First things they told me not to say, I'm like, that guy told me I can't say this, this, and this. So people who all bought tickets for me all started chanting GTG.
Really?
So from that point forward, yeah, because dude, we always said it. So like, it was like, you want to buy your tickets from Staten Island Party Network and Jersey Shore Party Network. But the slogans were GTG, good times guaranteed. The slogan, so people knew the slogan. So like, I'd be like this, the guy your mother warned you about. So like, when I would talk sometimes, I'd take a microphone, like the guy put the microphone in the air, and the fans would go, warned you about, because they knew the slogans. Your favorite entertainers? Favorite entertainers. I would be like, favorite entertainers, put the mic up, and they just favorite entertainer. Like they knew the lines. But where did I get that from? I got to give props to wrestling. Watching the old school promos with the Bobby Heenan's of the world, Jimmy Hart, who's like an uncle to me. Jimmy Hart's like my uncle.
Oh, really?
Me and Jimmy talk all the time. But I will tell you why he's like my uncle. This is how it started. Okay. My mother's a Hart. My mother's Beverly Hart. No relation to Jimmy or Brett, but that was her maiden name was Hart. My father, Sorrentino. So she got married. They asked him to give Sorrentino. But my grandfather was Robert Hart. My mother's maiden name was Hart because father was a Robert Hart. So technically spelled the same and everything. So Jimmy Hart always fucked with me. This is my nephew. This is my nephew. This is my nephew. But a lot of people do call Jimmy Uncle Jimmy. Same thing with Fred Ottman. A lot of people call Fred Ottman Uncle Fred. But with Jimmy Hart, when I say it to him and people go over to him, you also see your nephew Richie. Like he knows exactly who you're talking about.
That is so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, but me and Brett, we don't have it like that. But with Jimmy Hart, definitely thing with my mother, because Jimmy was at my old apartment one time. Okay. And my mother came in. And I got two funny stories about my old apartment. Jimmy Hart will be the first one. And my mother came in. What's Jimmy Hart doing here? And I'm like, because again, Jimmy's this guy where he never ages. The man doesn't age.
I know. He looks the same exact way. Yeah.
He was wearing his regular clothes and everything, his Jimmy Hart attire. But we were getting ready to go somewhere because I had him for like a whole weekend. Because my mother just popped at the time, back at that old apartment. She would just pop in. We lived like 2 blocks away from each other. So my parents lived 2 blocks from where I was living at the time. So she would just pop in sometimes. And one of the times was Jimmy Hart. And she goes, oh, they start talking. And I was, doing something at the time. I was on the phone, probably yelling at somebody. I don't know. But they were talking. And I go, Ma, we're related to Jimmy? He goes, what do you mean? I go, Ma, tell him what your name is. She goes, Beverly Sorrentino. I go, no. What your name is before you were married. She told him. It's hard. He goes, how are we not related? And that's how the whole thing started. My mother's like, oh yeah, that's right. You are a Hart. And he's like, yeah, you're a Hart. And that's how the whole thing started. So that was funny. And then my mother was actually a Gentry's fan, doo-wop group. Jimmy Hart was lead singer of the Gentry's.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows doo-wop. Jimmy Hart was the lead singer. They had the number 5 song in the country, Keep On Dancing. I don't know what year that was. I don't know. I don't want to say the year because I don't want to give up Jimmy's age, but you're going back a good 50-something years that song came out.
Yeah.
And that's me being nice. 50 years. It's me being nice. Definitely, whatever doo-wop era was, Keep On Dancing, Gentry's, Jimmy Hart was lead singer. Gentry's had other songs after that, but Jimmy Hart was not part of it. And he sang a lot of WWF songs, as you know. And then the other time my mother randomly came to my house uninvited, because she wasn't invited. So she would just come in sometimes. And this happened with some of my exes too. She would just show up. It is what it is, Luckily, my exes were dressed in most scenarios. But neither here nor there, when they talk about my exes, I need them calling me and being like, oh, on Rocco show, you said this. I don't need that. Those exes, listen, everything ends badly, otherwise it wouldn't end at all. But besides the exes, my mother came into my house one night. She came. And maybe I told her to come by. This time I might have told Jimmy Hart, I know she wasn't invited. But this time she might have been invited because I think she was dropping off something I knew about it.
Okay.
Now Mike Jones was at the house. You know who Mike Jones is?
Why does that name sound familiar?
Okay, I just had him at Icons. You were at Icons. Who did I have?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
Wait, I'm trying to remember.
Everybody's got a price is the hint I'm going to give you.
Oh, the $1 million man.
The sidekick.
IRS Mike.
Sidekick. $1 Million Man and who? 1980. Mega Bucks.
The Giant.
Virgil.
Virgil.
Well, I couldn't have Andre the Giant, who would have been dead. Okay.
Well, no, you said the first name that came in my head.
Well, but at the last Icons, I had Virgil and I had Jason Knight from ECW. That's who I had the last Icons. I had them two. Icons, if anybody lives in Philadelphia, you go to the next Icons, July 1st, it's going to be a big barbecue. We have Allie, we have Harley Cameron, and we have Brandy Lauren, I think. Possibly a 4th person, I don't know yet. But Timmy and them, they just keep adding people every week. They had Britt Baker. So it seems like it should be like an AEW party, it seems to me.
How got added. Like mostly every guest that he announced so far is an AEW star.
And Jay's there too, right? Jay's there,
right? Jay, Sammy Guevara. I don't know how.
It's like an AEW party, it sees like. See, when I booked Allie, it was because the girls have been around. I tried to get her for my show, it didn't work out, the dates. And then she was like, what else is coming up? And I said, you could do Wrestle Bash, which is in New Jersey. They're good guys. Asylum, check that out. Good guys. Well, you check out Icons of Wrestling. Timmy, great guy. You know that. I know that. I know one time you had some issue and I took care of it for you. You know it. I know it. No, I'm not going to get into that issue here, but Timmy took care of it because he's a stand-up guy. Yeah. So if Timmy's watching the shout out to Icons of Wrestling and to everybody who was part of that establishment. That's a very good convention. They're very well organized. And I'd love to one day be in that level because they're definitely a good convention. It's run very well.
Definitely is. It's top
this first show here, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully it goes well. That's up to the fans, not up to me. But so my mother walked up the stairs. My mother walked up. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. My mother walked up the stairs, and she goes, "Who's this guy?" She goes, "Is that Jerome's brother?" And I'm like, "No, it's not Jerome's brother. It's not Jerome Carter's brother." I'm like, "You don't know who that guy is?" She goes, "No, I don't know who he is." Now Virgil's wearing a GTG gray shirt. Now, if you notice, if you watch Virgil, he wears this gray shirt everywhere he goes. He wears Under Armour and he wears this gray GTG shirt. Now, let me tell you something about this shirt, guys. This is a Richie Sorrentino worn shirt that he took from my closet, which I told him I'd give him a brand new one, but he decided to take that one home. Okay, that's fine. But when he does his cameo videos, he's wearing GTG. When he goes out to random places that I'm not even involved in, and I always get pictures all over the world. Like he goes to UK or wherever he goes. Like, Rich, he was in the UK. I got a picture with him. I'm like, wait, why is he wearing a GTG shirt? Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Free advertisement for me. Like, Barry, I can see him wearing it. Barry, I could see. Virgil, okay. But Virgil happened to stay in my house for a week. I'm not going to get into why, but he had to stay in my house for a week. So my mother's like, I don't know who he is. That's not Jerome's brother. I don't know who he is. I'm like, Mom, look at him again. I don't know who he is. I said, yes, you do. I said, $1 Million Man's boy. And unlike you, my mother got it right. Unlike you, right away, my mother got it right. She was like, Virgil? It's like, yeah, that's Mike Jones. It's Virgil. So you said he was Mike. I said, yeah, that's Mike Jones, Virgil. I didn't say Mike Jones Bolin, the rapper, not that guy. It's Mike Jones.
Yeah.
Virgil, Vincent, Meat Sauce, whatever you want to call him. But at the time, I didn't know he was nicknamed Meat. No, the way I didn't know. I'm a liar because I got inscriptions where he wrote Meat Sauce Mafia 100 times because the guy pissed me off because he wouldn't know how to spell Bucks. He's like Mega, and he's like, Rich, how do you spell Bucks? And after the 100th time he asked me that, I kept going Bucks. So after I was like, dude, $, $. So if you ever see him write Mega and then mad dollar signs, you know that autograph came from my house because asking me. How do you spell Buck? Dude, I went crazy. I'm like, dude, how do you not know how to spell it? Virgil, listen, if he comes with a vendor, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I know you can hear a lot of mixed stories about him.
Yeah.
But if he comes by himself and he has his own booth and he's by himself and he's in front of like a stadium, run away. Run as fast as you can. If you're going to WrestleMania next year and you see Virgil's table in front of the damn thing, you run as fast as you can. But if you're ever at a convention and you see he's with an actual person, he's fine. It's just that when he's by himself, it's like having a child. You just need someone to oversee Virgil.
Yeah.
He means well, but you could be conned if you don't know any better.
I heard the outrageous prices he charges for pictures when he's not with someone.
He did it to me in '97 when I was a little kid. He did it to me. I was like, I already got your autograph. And he's like, he signed it anyway. He said, what's your name? I told my name. And he's like, $20. And I was like, huh? I said, I want anything. I said, Dad, can I get $20? I was like, for what? So you already own this guy's autograph. I said, yeah, I kind of agreed to it. But looking back, I didn't agree to shit. When I was a little kid, I didn't know to say no, you know what I'm saying? But the guy still does that to this day.
I know.
So it was right between the transition between WCW and or he might have been out of NWO for a little bit and then came back. I don't really remember. But I don't know if you remember the wrestler Sonny Beach. Sonny Beach, Rick Allen. He was a handsome guy. He was in the movie No Holds Barred, if you look it up.
Oh, all right.
Okay, but Rick Allen, good dude. He's done virtual signings with me. He's worked with me. Good guy. He lives in Long Island. He's another guy. He's been to my place. Good guy. He has a kid. One of his sons lives not far from him. So he stopped by. He's been to this apartment. Rick Allen. Good guy. He owns American Protection Bureau. So you look it up. He owns it. So if anybody needs protection in Long Island, Queens area, hit up Rick Allen. He was Sunny Beach, the Beth. And a lot of wrestlers will tell you good stories about Rick Allen. He didn't wrestle a long time there, but when I was a little kid growing up, he owned an actual federation by my house. I didn't know he was the owner until years later. I didn't know that. They would have ECW wrestling there, and then they'd have Rick Allen's federation. I forgot what it was called. But years later, me and Rick Allen were talking. I said, I have all these flyers that you were on. He goes, yeah, that was my federation. I used to go all the time with my father. We used to go, Small world sometimes. You never know who you're going to see. And my mother and Virgil was the funniest thing. Virgil's like, how does she not know who I am? I'm Virgil, and I did this, and I did that. And like 20 minutes of my mother having to hear nonsense. And she was like, I just want to give my son this for whatever she wanted to give me. She was like, Rich, I'm going to go now. And I said, yeah, I yeah, she definitely was annoyed with that one. But
I'm sure she was. Yeah, that's why she left so fast.
She definitely was like this. I'm definitely calling in advance going forward.
So, well, see, a good thing came out of that then. So, like, you're going to get called in advance. So, like, that's
well, my stupid ass would leave the door open. See, that was my own fault. I would leave the door open. And I remember, like, any of my exes will tell you, well, let's not talk to my exes. But if we were to talk to them, which we're not going to do, but if we were to talk to them, they used to always yell at me for leaving the door open. But there was a reason behind it, because I would get mail and different things, and the neighbors would have to scream up the stairs because we had to walk a bunch of steps. So they would scream up the steps. Richie, you have this mail downstairs. Or you have this package you got to sign. And I would never hear the doorbell. So that was the whole reason why the door was always open. It was pouring outside, and obviously I locked it. But a lot of times it was open. So there'd be little kids in the neighborhood. I knew their parents, whatnot. I watched the kids grow up, and they'd be like, I'm fighting with my parents. I'm going to crash here. I'm like, dude, I have a girl. Like, there's a girl here. Like, girl's taking a shower or whatever. Like, you kids have to go. I'm like, look what the parents. Rich had a girl at the house, and she came out in a towel. I'm like, listen, who do you think was more embarrassed, that little boy or the girl? Who do you think was more embarrassed? I'm like, what is that kid angry about? I wish the girl came out in a towel when I was a little kid.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, my apartment was like anybody just showed up. Especially when we first started doing auctions. We were talking about GTG Productions earlier. We first started doing the auctions. If you watched the early I know I delete a lot of them now. If you find the original episodes, you'll see people just show up in my apartment. They would just show up. So you never knew who was showing. It could be 3 people, it could be 10 people, it could be all of a sudden you could have a food fight in that freaking place because you never knew who was going to show up. And the first couple of lives, I wasn't the original talker. My cousin was. And so he would talk. I would come home from work at they started at 5. I would come home from work at 5:40. And I'm like, who the hell are half these people in my apartment? Who are half of you people? And then random other people would just show up. But those people just would come anyway to watch TV or watch basketball, or just get away from their wife or whatever the case. Luckily, where I moved now, I recently moved about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have that part. Nobody just shows up here.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, there's a girl downstairs for me, so I can't have the door wide open. So that's good. It's a good thing. So nobody really bothers me. The occasional neighbor might eat salt or something, but that's fine. If any of my neighbors are watching, neighbors could be bad, but I got real good neighbors on my block, luckily.
Okay, good.
They're good. If they're drinking alcohol outside, it's like, Modelo will leave some for Rich outside. They're good people. They're good. I can't complain about that. They're good.
Okay. And the last question I'm going to ask you, since I'm sure I'm a big horror fan, and my show is very horror based. Are there any horror films that you like to watch?
Okay. I've definitely seen a bunch of horror films. So I'm not gonna go with the typical answers everyone's gonna give. So they're gonna be like Dawn of the Dead or whatever. So I'm gonna go with Shaun of the Dead. You ever see that one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'll go with Shaun of the Dead. Go with that. Did you see the Batista one with the zombies with Batista?
Yes.
Okay, that was a good movie. I don't know the name of it. I'll go with that. That was pretty cool. Again, Netflix recommended it, so I don't know the name of it. But I did watch that movie 3 times, so that was pretty good. Whatever it was called, I don't know. But Batista's in it, so if you type in Batista, he's actually got some pretty good movies. There's a heist. There's a movie about a heist he's in. Batista's got some good films. He's underrated as an actor. I know he sucked in Guardians of the Galaxy. You might disagree. He did suck in Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, horror stuff. What else did I like? Horror. I watched that little Wednesday show. That wasn't bad. Wednesday.
That was good. I liked that.
I liked that. Wednesday was good. If I was 20 years younger, Jenny Ortega and me were going on a date. If I was 20 years younger, but a little too old now for her. But if she wants to marry me, we're more than welcome to do that. Kind of look the same, but I don't want to be accused of anything. I don't know how old that girl is. So we'll leave that where it is. Horror stuff. What else do I like? Horror. Okay, American Horror Story. I watched a few seasons of that. Yeah. The first season though was the best one. I didn't watch all
that was really good.
But the first season was good. Maybe the second season was good. But once it became like the circus one, then I stopped watching. Like I would see a few, like when they had the aliens, I didn't watch that. Random aliens, whatever the hell happened there. They didn't watch that. Like I'm a big like Marvel DC guy. Like I'm big on that.
Okay.
So like the Flash, those type of things on whatever's on, like those type of shows. I'm big into that. Big super. Like if they have conventional superhero guys, big in that. Like that's something I would attend. Like horror. Listen, Freddy Krueger. Who didn't like that movie? Who didn't like Friday? But like those are generic answers. I didn't want to give you those ones. But like who doesn't like those movies? But like Scream was good. I didn't see the new one yet.
The new one is really good.
Yeah, it's good. I gotta watch that. But like anytime they did a spoof of anything, what was the one they did a spoof of? Scream?
Scary movie.
But it's like those I liked. Like it was, those were funny. Those I liked. But I'm more a comedy guy. I tell jokes, so I like comedy. But definitely Netflix. If you type in like horror, there's definitely a lot of movies and shows I probably forgot because again, you binge watch within 2 days, you're done. It's like there's things I'll watch 2 years later. I'm like, wait, I seen this 2 years ago. I don't realize it after the fact. It's like Netflix is addictive. Like Netflix,
it is. I know it is.
Like I won't even go. I used to go out every single weekend. Now it's like, Rich, you going out? I'm like, I went out last night. What are you doing? I'm watching Netflix. People are like, Rich, what happened to you? I don't know. No. Happens. But yeah, horror, it's a good listen. If I'm down to go to a horror con. I'm down to go. I actually was just with I don't know if she counts as horror, but I know she does a lot of horror cons. I was with Christina Ricci at a big event when she had some problems, and they sat next to me because she was having some problems. I'm not gonna get to what a problem she was having, but her sitting next to me, nobody was gonna give her a problem because it would have been a problem. So Christina Ricci was a very nice girl. I had a good conversation with her. Well, is this horror related? I definitely met some horror people. The guy who sings the ECW themes, he did some horror movies. Can't think of his name. He comes to ECW Arena. You definitely know him by face. Damn, why am I not thinking of movies? Why am I thinking of Shaun of the Dead and not any other horror movies? Shaun of the Dead. If nobody ever seen it, you guys gotta watch Shaun of the Dead.
It's a horror. It's horror comedy, but it's still horror.
It counts. But like definitely that movie with Batista. I don't know the name of it. You guys gotta look it up with Batista.
I think that was the Army of the Dead.
That was it. Army of the Dead. That was it.
I think that was his movie.
That was a good movie. They might have even had a second part to it. That was good. So like anything similar to that, I seen that like especially when COVID happened, they had all these like zombie apocalypse TV shows and movies. So I was watching a lot of them. I can't tell you the names of them because I don't remember, but there was a lot of every freaking movie was about zombies. I'm like, every single during COVID, everything was about zombies. I'm like, damn, every single.
You're right about that.
It was like now this year, it's like everything's about a heist. Like if you watch Netflix, it's always about like somebody robbing a bank or somebody robbing something. So like, I guess they pick every 6 months what they want to do. But horror is definitely a good thing, man. I gotta go with you because you would know the people better than I would. I want to meet the kid who played Andy in Chucky.
Oh yeah, Alex.
I want to meet him. Yeah, I want to meet him. There's 2 other people I would want to meet. But yeah, I'd have to look at a HorrorCon sheet. But yeah, I never been to one in Chiller. I never been. You been to ChillerCon?
I've been to Chiller and I've been to the other one too. Monster Mania.
Right, Monster Mania. Right down on the take those around. I make that. Yeah, I've never been to either one of them. But yeah, no, there's definitely.
They are.
I'm sure if I looked at the list, I'm sure I'd be like, oh yeah, this person I like, and this person's movie was good. But on top of my head, like I said, I'm into everything. I said it's like comedy, action. Then for me, like let's say like old school, like Roadhouse was my movie. I'll make you laugh, bro. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is one of my favorite movies. I could do the whole movie line for line for line. I could do the whole freaking movie. If we watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure right now, I could do the whole line for the next guy does it. Like that's just how it is. But yeah, horror, there's definitely, I don't know if Teen Wolf counts as a horror movie. I don't know if it counts. But Teen Wolf was a good movie.
Yeah, with Michael J. Fox.
Right, with Bateman in the other one, second one.
Yeah.
That was good. But I don't know if it counts as it, but it should.
And then you had
Troll was a terrible movie. Troll, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Most of the Leprechaun movies are pretty bad, right? You would consider those horror, I guess. They were pretty bad. There's some bad ones, you know what I mean? But again, you get what you get. Oh, Horror was saying? Yeah, Blackula's got to count. A lot of people like Dracula. Blackula, great movie. If you've never seen Blackula, you got to watch Blackula. In the Hood, you got to watch Blackula, man. He does his thing, man. He gets his girls. He does his thing. Blackula, good horror movie. I'm just trying to think outside the box of answers that nobody has ever said on this show. So I'm sure nobody's ever said Blackula. So
nobody has ever said that yet. You are the first to say that. I mean, there are people.
Blackula is a real movie, guys. I'm not making it up. Blackula, good movie. You know, I don't know it line for line, but it is a good movie. I have seen a few. They don't play it on TV enough. But then again, there's so many damn channels now. They could. It's possible that it plays. I haven't seen that movie in years, but it's a good movie.
It is. I haven't seen that in years too, but from what I remember of the movie, it's a very entertaining film.
Listen, folks. He's gonna watch it when he gets home today. He's gonna watch. First thing he's gonna pop in Blackula. He's gonna watch it.
I know.
Rich, I'm watching Blackula right now. Like, oh shit, Blackula. Oh shit, send me the link. That's how it's gonna go later, guys.
It probably is. You're right.
But you know, there's a lot of good films out there. There's definitely a lot. But I didn't like in what was it? Which is the one with the guy with his sister? Was it Friday the 13th or Jason? Friday the 13th, right? With his sister?
Well, oh no,
which is the one
Halloween
with the Rob Zombie made the remake too.
Yeah.
Well, dude, half the movies count, half of them don't count. I don't like that.
Michael Myers, Halloween.
Well, okay, yeah, like that, like Halloween. Some of them they don't count because one of them is like the girl has a son, the next one the girl's daughter. They don't count. How does the 1999 one doesn't count? The one with George Clooney doesn't count. I just learned that last year. I didn't know it didn't count. I said, where's this guy's? How come the guy's son, right? Josh Hartnett, right? How come that guy's not? They were like, Rich, it doesn't count. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't count? How does it not freaking count? Fucking counts. What do you mean George Clooney died? What do you mean it doesn't count? Right. So that and like, oh yeah. Then the other good show was the one that they did 100 times. That was with Leatherface.
Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Most of those are good. Most of them, but they've remade them so many times. So depending which ones you're going by. But with the guy from Full Metal Jacket in it, those ones were good. When that guy was in them, they were good. That's all I will say about that. But there was some shitty versions of that I did see. But overall, it's a good movie. If you've never seen it, but I'm sure that's a movie everybody has said on here. So I'm sticking with Blackula. Blackula, hands down. Blackula, Richie Sorrentino, Black. Everybody get that popcorn when you watch this video. I don't know if you watch it right now, or you watch this next week, or you watch this tomorrow. But whenever you guys watch this, I pull in a DVD. Well, they're not Blockbuster anymore. So go to YouTube, type in Blackula. Yeah, I can't even pronounce the damn guy's name right. Blackula. Okay, Blackula. Okay, type it in. You'll see it's a real movie. And I heard there was a movie, Blackula versus Dracula. I've never seen it.
Wait,
I heard
really?
That's what I heard. I don't know how true this is. Somebody did tell me this a long time ago. It just popped in my head right now. So I never did investigate. But I was
I'm going to have to look it up now.
If there is one, let me know. I'm down to watch it. You know, Van Helsing's cool. You know, that anything Deadless Horseman, that was pretty cool. That guy's actually buried in Staten Island, Ichabod Crane. Fact. Ichabod Crane, that dude?
Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, he's buried in Staten Island somewhere. I ain't going anywhere near that Headless Horseman, but he's buried in Staten Island. I don't know if the thing's in Massachusetts. Why the hell is he buried in Staten Island, New York?
Right.
Listen, it ain't near my house, so that's good. I ain't going anywhere near where he's buried. That's all I'll tell you. Like, if you put me there in the middle of the night and you like put me like the time you ever put me there, I'm probably gonna cry like a little girl because I don't want to be near that guy. I don't want to be near him. I can't speak for Rocco. I don't want to be near no Headless Horseman. And I have to find the bridge or whatever so he don't get me.
Exactly. Yes.
Do that, man. I don't know. I can't see in the dark. You know, New York City, man. You get no stars. I get no stars where I live. I can't look up and be like, "Where's the North Star to get me out of here?" Can't do it. It's just the truth, bro. Philadelphia, it's the same for you. You got a big city. You don't see the stars at night.
No.
You got the same problem. Right now, if you live at like Scranton, you can see the stars out there. You know, where they had you can see the stars upstate New York, but you know, Philly and New York City, you can't see no stars. Yeah. I'm lucky if I see one star. Lucky if I see one.
I know you're right.
You know, but But like I said, guys, Wrestle Show, everybody should come out, support. Rocco's going to come. She come. You're going to do a photo op with the both of us. Definitely come out, support, tell your friends, tell your family. Listen, if you like wrestling, it's www.wrestleshownj.com. Again, you can buy your tickets there. You save time by buying tickets in advance. The price does not go up day of the show. The price is the price. But if you do have pre-advanced tickets, it's going to be much faster for you to get inside. So I recommend doing that. Pre-sales are going pretty good. It's going to be a good show. Listen, something in there for everybody. And as the shows grow, we're going to have more stuff going on. But again, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, depending upon how this show goes. So again, one thing you know about me is the Credit King, Richie Real Talk, Richie Sorrentino, the guy your mother warned you about, your favorite vendor is favorite vendor, and the only guy who said Blackula on this podcast. The one thing I'm going to tell you is that I can't answer you about what the next show is going to bring until after the show is done.
Right.
Because there might never be another show again. We might try it out and be like, you know what? It doesn't work. But again, we did this show. I figured like this. I'll be 100% honest. We did this show because it was like, we need something different for the fans. Like all the shows to me, it just felt like it was catered the same way. And there's nothing against those ways. It's just like, it's just a different way of doing things.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's not that their way is right or my way is right, because I get along with most of these vendors. Everybody thinks all these vendors have all these feuds and all these promoters. I don't consider myself a promoter. Listen, there's certain vendors I can't stand. There's certain vendors I can't stand. And most likely somebody, if you have me on Facebook, you probably see me post a video about them. But it's usually me defending myself because I'm being accused of some nonsense. There's a lot of jealousy that goes on in this wrestling business. There's a lot of jealousy that goes on. And I'm not saying that's the case with this wrestling convention. I'm not saying that at all, because I really got a lot of good feedback. Even though some people are not doing the show, they've hit me up from other states. And they go, Rich, I wish you do good. And I want you to do well. And that's how it should be. If I saw somebody in a different state that I've met over the years and they live in Minnesota, but listen, I can't attend, the traveling, they said it's not worth it to me but I want you to do well. Listen, if everybody does good, there could be more stuff. But sometimes you have to say no to the talents. The talents and the agents right now, anybody who throws a convention, and now that I'm throwing one, it's like giving away secrets, I guess. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now that I throw a convention, the agents, AEW, and certain other outlets, they try to hurt the whole business of fans meeting their favorite talent. You can't pay these prices. I'll just give an example. Wardlow, not bashing the man, but 18 grand? How can I pay this man 18 grand for 4 hours?
Oh.
So should I have Wardlow or should I have Bret Hart? Let me think. Bret Hart's going to win on a landslide. Sorry, Wardlow, but Bret Hart's going to win. Now, if Wardlow wanted 3 grand, I'd gladly pay him 3 grand. But I'm just spitballing a random name on top of my head. It's nothing against Wardlow. I think he's going to be a good talent, but he hasn't paid his dues yet to get.
Wow.
Some people might have a case that would be different, but in my opinion, and listen, if I got to pay this guy 18 grand, guess what I got to charge the fans?
Well, yeah, I know exactly.
You want to pay his price. So you want to pay for Brett or you want to pay for Wardlow? So that's just the way that I see it.
Remember, I was telling you, Sammy's price was a little high too, because I reached out to Sammy, and he said him and Ty come in as a team, and his.
I about that. Yeah, I remember.
His price was a little high, but then
they want a ridiculous number. Now I'll tell you guys this.
But they brought him in Philly. Now he's going to be at Icons of Wrestling, like him and Ty.
But listen, I'm gonna say one thing. But dude, Icons, they ran a good establishment. Rob and Timmy, they ran a good thing. It's been going on now a few years. I think I've pretty much been involved in all of them. I think I might have missed one.
You definitely have,
But I definitely been to most of them, especially since Battleground's been around. I don't think I missed a Battleground. I don't think. Exactly. I might have, but I'm pretty sure I've been to every battle. I'm pretty sure. Timmy would probably know the answer better than me. You'd have to interview him next. But he would have a lot of good stories. I'm going to
reach out to Tim next.
He would have a lot of good stories because Timmy, a lot of people don't know, Timmy used to do podcasts. Or similar to, he used to do podcasts before they were called podcasts, because he would do with Rob with our video stuff.
Yeah.
And he would do interviews. So Timmy, Timmy was definitely doing a lot of interviews. He was doing his thing. When I first met Timmy, I didn't know much about him. He wasn't throwing a convention. Like a lot of these guys, I knew before they were throwing conventions. Like Timmy, I just knew him as a guy who was with Rob. They hung out. He was working with him. He invested wherever he invested. So like sometimes I'd have Brett, they'd have Sean. So like Brett and Sean didn't want to do a photo again. They didn't like each other. But if there was a photo that had to get signed by both, why should the person wait online? You know what I mean? So like so we worked it out amongst each other. But again, everybody thinks it's a big war. Timmy promotes my show. I promote Timmy's show. Everybody, July 1st, Icons, go to it. Timmy does a video every Monday. He does a video. He plugs my show.
Yeah.
So there's no way. I'm not saying every vendor gets along. That'd be a lot. No. There's a lot of egos. Listen, you go to these shows, you see it. Certain people, they treat the fans a certain way.
Yeah.
I don't like that. So if they treat the fans a certain way,
don't treat fans right.
So some people don't treat the fans right. They don't treat vendors. Dude, if you're doing the same type of thing, dude, I don't think I'm better than anybody because I book wrestling guys. I don't think I'm better than anybody. At the end of the day, every single person who books wrestling talent, even if they don't watch wrestling now, they watched it when they were younger.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So any vendor who tells you that, oh, I never watched wrestling, never did it, they're full of crap. Okay? Like, I can understand not watching the current product. They have kids or they just, Like I remember like certain part of the 2000s era, I was just always out. So I just didn't watch. Hence why I missed NWO, the gold, what was that? Gold version with Brett, Jeff Jarrett. I knew nothing about it until the network. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, wait, Jeff Jarrett and Bret Hart? I didn't know. I had no idea. I just didn't watch it. I said after that whole New Blood shit, because I was already pissed at the Pope of Doom. I didn't like that. Then Billy Kimmon beats Hulk Hogan fair and square 3 times in a row. I threw the remote. I said, again, Hulk Hogan was my guy. And you let Billy Kimmon whoop his ass? Billy Kimmon weighs less than me. And he's beating Hulk Hogan's ass? What kind of shit is that? I threw my remote. I said, fuck WCW. I watched a little bit longer. I remember I go to my ex's house, 2001. So me and this ex have no problem. So shout out to her if she's watching it. Even if she watches this 5 years from now. My ex in 2001, she knows who she is. She's married now. She has kids. Best of luck to her and her kids. But and the husband too, I guess. I never met him. But he seems like a nice guy on Facebook from what I could see. But looks wise, definitely I'm a better handsome looking guy. But you can't judge. You're a straight man. But but she'll tell you I'm a better looking guy than him. But neither here nor there. But I used to watch wrestling with her brother sometimes, like 2001 to like 2003. Okay. So like, but I made it clear to him, we don't watch WCW. We don't watch it. So I didn't start watching WCW again until they had the invasion angle. Yeah. That was cool. But they fucked up. They should have waited till all those Time Warner contracts were up. This way Hogan could have came, Goldberg could have came. They screwed that up big time. So next thing you know, you have a Survivor Series, and it was what? Half the guys with WWF fighting for WCW versus WWF. How the hell does that make any damn sense? And then when all these ECW guys joined and they beat up Jericho and Kane,
that's right.
Jericho was in WCW and ECW. Why would you beat up Jericho? He should have joined. Like, he would have been the best guy for the alliance. Right. Why would you jump him? To this day, could someone in WWE who write Vince Russo, whoever the hell wrote the stories, I don't think it was Vince Russo, he was definitely gone. But whoever wrote the damn stories, when they came in ECW, when they jumped, I think WCW joined them in the jumping, and they jumped Kane and Jericho. Why the hell did they touch Jericho when Jericho was one of them originally? He was ECW, and he was WCW guy. Why would you jump him? He would have been the best guy to jump over.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Austin, it kind of made sense to jump through, but since he was so big in WWF, it was stupid to make him jump. Kurt Angle, there was no point. No point for Kurt Angle to jump ship. But a lot of these guys who jump ship, it just made no freaking goddamn sense. They never were in WCW. How can Kurt Angle be 3-time WCW champ? It's a stupid fucking thing. Stupid thing. Whoever wrote that, whichever booker, I'm sure you're gone now, Bruce Pritchard, whoever that was, Jim Cornette. That's why you guys are doing podcasts, that you're doing your podcast, that you guys are doing, and then nobody wants to hire you guys. She's like, Rocco, he's going to get a good job because he knows the stuff. So if he wrote the stories, he'd write it way better than you, Jim Cornette. He'd write it better. Like, listen, Conan actually knows his shit, so I can't bash his podcast. It's just that he's got personal beefs with certain people, but Conan knows his shit. Yeah. Jeff Jarrett, he got dealt a bad hand in NWA. I'm cool with the Jarretts. Karen Jarrett, big Cobra Kai fan. Spoiler. Big Cobra Kai. Okay. Karen Jarrett, she will text me and she'll be like, Cobra Kai in 2 weeks, Rich. Get ready. Cobra Kai. Karen Jarrett, great person. Karen Jarrett's probably one of the best females I've worked with.
Oh, wow.
Deborah Michaels first.
Yeah.
Karen's definitely in the top 5. Karen, a lot of people wouldn't think that. You would think that she comes off like snotty, but that's just her gimmick. But she's very friendly. She's very, 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 very Very friendly. That's someone you should have on the show. I'll try and set you up with Karen. She probably
really?
would. I'll talk to Karen for you.
Okay, thank you.
Karen's good people. I don't know if she likes horror movies, but she, maybe we'll get Karen to watch Blackula. Maybe we'll get her to watch it. Me, you, and Karen Jarrett watch, and then Jeff Jarrett comes and hits us with a guitar at the end, and people will tune in to watch that, I guess.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know what I mean? But there's definitely a lot of good movies out there for all you guys who are horror fans. I'm sure Rocco has like the list of his 100 favorite horror films. So just ask him if you want to see a horror film and like you want to take your girl out and scare her for the first night. Just ask him 100 horror movies, and now he's going to add Blackula to the list. So something's going to get knocked off.
That's definitely getting added. That's definitely getting added.
Sometimes it's a good movie. It's a good movie. But yeah, guys, everybody definitely come out to Wrestle Show, and hope to see everybody there. And if there's any other questions for me, feel free to ask.
Nah, I'm good with questions. I want to thank you so much for doing the show, and I will see you at Wrestle Show.
It's my pleasure to be here. We look forward to seeing you there as well. Look forward to seeing all the fans there. I hope to see everybody there. Everybody watching this, even if you don't know who the hell I am. Again, my name is Richie Sorrentino. Hope to see everybody. You come over and be like, I saw you on Rocco's show, man. I saw you. You just didn't shut the hell up. Rocco was gonna punch you in the face. Like Rocco was like gonna do the Italian style. Listen, he still might do that. I'm just not gonna tell anybody about it. He'll do it behind closed doors. So But no, me and Rocco always have a good time, guys. If you ever see us like at Icons and stuff, and it's cousin Billy, we always have a good time. So
definitely
guys, support Icons of Wrestling July 1st. Support Wrestle Show in May 20th. There's a thing called Wrestle Bash. I'll be doing that. That's in New Jersey. I'll let you know the information. I think that's in August. Support them. So there's a lot of good shows coming up that it gives you a different atmosphere. Like,
yeah,
it seems like AEW is going to be taking over Philly. So like if you like AEW, then you should definitely go July 1st. Plus there's a huge freaking barbecue. That's anytime I talk to Timmy, it's all I hear about is the barbecue.
Yes.
So the barbecue is gonna be a crazy barbecue.
I know.
Play with the wrestlers and stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy stuff. I don't want to give away too much. I'll let Timmy come on here and explain that himself. But yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody having me on. God bless everybody. Take care of each. I was gonna use the Jerry Springer line, but I just screwed it up, so I'm not gonna use it. Shout out Jerry Springer. He's up there now. I think he's up there. He might be down there for instigating a lot of fights. Pretty sure he went up there. Now Jerry Springer was a good dude. I actually met him on in the city one time. He was walking on one side of the street. I was walking on the other side. I was like, oh shit, Jerry Springer, and I fucking ran across the street to get a pic with him. And then of course whoever took the pic made it blurry as can be.
I hate when people do that. Yes.
I like to have people with me who know how to take a picture, but it's hard. Like if you're walking, especially in New York City, you're not planning. You never know who you're gonna run into. Like Shane McMahon, I met in the city. I met him by the Garden. Pure coincident thing. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like I was waiting anywhere. I just met he was walking one side of the street, I was on the other side of the street. It's like shit, Shane McMahon. So I got a nice pic with him. Linda McMahon too was random. I saw her at some hotel, and I was in one place, and I was doing a private signing. And she, like, someone goes like this, I think that was Linda McMahon. Like, no way, it's like 20 seconds. I'm like, oh shit, Linda McMahon. And she was cool as could be. We talked about 20 minutes. Linda McMahon, very cool. Bella Twins were cool. There's a lot of people I met randomly, like just random. Bella Twins actually met countless times randomly. My friend was, I know, don't shut the hell up. My friend was, but the story's always good, helps your views.
Yeah.
My friend was a limousine driver. And he had to pick up either Bree or the other Bella, one I made to pick up. So I went to go get her. And again, for all she knew, I could have been a stalker. I'm like, listen, the guy's in the car. He has to get, he's here to get you. She said, oh, sure, I'll go with you. Like, what if I wasn't who I said I was? But yeah, that whichever Bella twin, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the one married to Daniel Bryan. And she was like, yeah, I'll come with you, no problem. And I'm like, yeah, just like that. Like, no, you need to see any credentials or anything? I'm like, okay. Let's go in the limo, no problem. And I'm like, okay, where you guys go? Like, oh, we're going to WWE Hotel. Oh, you saw? I'm going to come in for the ride then, WWE Hotel. I went for the ride. And again, there's certain guys I know at WWE because like Drake Maverick, I booked him. His wife is named Michelle. I booked her when they had 24/7 storyline with the belt. Where Drake Maverick and his wife were fighting over the belt. So I had booked her a lot. So like Drake Maverick, I'm cool with. Natalia's husband, I'm cool with. He's still, he writes the storylines. Tyson Kidd, good guy. Actually, I'm at Icons a few years back. I had him with somebody. Maybe Ultimate Dragon, maybe? Oh, okay. I had him with somebody. I don't know. He might have been maybe Steve Blackman. I don't know. I don't even remember who the hell I booked anymore. But yeah, definitely. No. It was him and Hardcore Holly were together when I had them. But But I had Tyson Kidd a few times. He worked with me a few times. Good, great guy. Good guy. He's on Facebook. Good guy. But yeah, we'll definitely hope to see everybody soon. And again, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. And hope you guys do well with the podcast. If you ever want to bring me up for round 2, man, we'll do round 2.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll tell you the Coco Beware story.
Oh my God, yes, dude.
And why he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But I will say this one last thing, and then I promise I will stop talking because everybody wants to hear Rocco end this. Okay, so I'm going to promise I will say, Coco Beware, the only reason he's in the Hall of Fame is not because of the bird. It's because him and Demolition and a bunch of other guys had this head injury case against WWE. So Vince McMahon said, you get rid of your lawsuit against me, I'll put you in the Hall of Fame. He said, you know what, Demolition? I want in the Hall of Fame. And that's why he got in.
Oh.
So maybe Barry Horowitz, if you're listening to this, maybe you should join that little head injury thing. And then WWE gives you a call. Then they give yourself a pat on the back because they'll put you in if you remove yourself from the list. Well, that's how it worked for Coco. I can't speak for him. I don't know who else is on the list, but that's how it worked for Coco.
Wow.
I will get that more in depth after the show. We'll do part 2. Part 2. And I expect to see everybody watch part 2.
Definitely.
We'll talk about results of Wrestle Show. And then we'll talk about Rocco's. Then we'll do the reverse. We'll talk about Rocco's opinion of Blackula.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We'll reverse the roles.
Oh, I'm totally down. Part 2 will be coming up soon.
He's going to watch Blackula tonight, folks. Don't worry. He's going to watch it tonight. Oh, don't worry about that. I know he will. I already seen it in his face. You guys can see it in his face. Look at it. He's laughing. He knows it's true. He's like, Blackula, I'm watching it. As soon as I go home, I'm going to find Blackula, I'm watching it. Or he's going to message me and be like, Instagram doesn't have Blackula. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. I can't help that. And I'm not Instagram. I mean YouTube. YouTube doesn't have Blackula. Like, oh, I don't know. They might. They should. Worst case, you got to pay $1.99, but I don't see why they wouldn't have it.
Oh my God.
Right. This was definitely a good interview.
Everybody comes out. Definitely a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, and we will do a second one. And thank you, Rich, again for doing this.
Listen, it's my pleasure. I thank you for having me on the show. So everybody, thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope to see everybody at Wrestle Show. So everybody have a good night, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
Same to you, brother.